Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing something a little different from my normal videos. So with my normal videos, I would just make these scratch games and I would show them to you guys and whatnot, and then I would allow you to play them by sharing you a link. But I have gotten a lot of messages from a couple of individuals that they want to know how I do it, how I make my games, and how I can help them right here. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. This is a whole tutorial on Scratch, how to make a FNAF Scratch game. Now, with this tutorial, I'm not going to get into anything super specific like extras or any special effects and whatnot. I'm just going to be showing you the quickest way and most efficient way to make a Scratch game. It's going to be bare bones. It's going to be like new game and continue buttons on the menu screen, the office, doors, cameras, animatronics, AI for the animatronics, and jump scares, as well as a 6 a.m. screen. But now, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, right here we have a brand new project and whatnot, and we're going to kind of want to work our way up. So, let's start with a simple thing right here. Let's start with the backdrop. So, with backdrops, you know how normal FNAF games actually have like a background in it. It has like a specific color. I mean, it's mostly just black, but sometimes the games are different and whatnot. And it just has this background, and then it has the title up here in the corner. Well, that's going to be pretty easy to create here. So we're just going to want to create a pretty cool background here. Or I guess I shouldn't say pretty cool. It's going to be pretty plain. But just draw a big rectangle right here, or more so of a square. And it can be any color that you want. I just chose dark gray because I thought that's a pretty cool color, at least for a scarier game, but it can be any color that you want. After adding that big colored square, we're going to want to add a title. So I'm just choosing my color here, and I'm also choosing my text font as well. It doesn't have to be exactly like these two things, but it can be any sort of font as well as color you want. I'm just going with pixel and dark red. So if you guys have heard my other series so far, or my other videos I mean, for my Scratch games, you guys know that I am a creator of a Scratch game series myself called Maxwell's Family Diner. Yeah, it says Maxwell Family Diner. Let's fix that. There you go. Maxwell's Family Diner. So right here, you already have your menu screen, and it's looking pretty cool so far. I mean, it's kind of plain and whatnot, but again, you guys can add any special effects that you want to. But now, with this out of the way, we're going to get into some more interesting stuff as well. So, we're going to want to create a brand new sprite here, and you know how there are characters in the menu screen that show you who you're going to be facing off against and whatnot in the actual games as well. Well, that's what we're going to do here. We're going to create a character and we're going to put them right here. We're going to make sure that they don't overlap with the text, otherwise you can't really see the text when the character is right there, and that wouldn't be really good. So off camera, I did a little bit of creating here, and this right here is Maxwell, my main character, but he's already been here before and whatnot, but I'm just choosing him as my character for now. You guys can choose whatever character you want, or if you ever made a character for a game that you wanted, go ahead and put them right here. And make sure that they are in a position where they are well enough seen and that they're not covering the text like this, because that does not look good. So let's set them right here. Good. Now we got Maxwell here. And now, if you guys have ever played the original FNAF games before, you definitely know that the character actually glitches out and has an animation. So we're going to create that right now, actually. And right here, we have a couple of different costumes you see of Maxwell glitching out. And this right here is just to show that the character is a little more scarier than you thought. You know, he looks kind of normal here, and then boom, he's all like weird and whatnot. And this circle right here is optional if you would like to do that. I just did it because I thought it provided some pretty cool shadows and whatnot. We should also try and make sure that that stays on screen relatively good right there. We should also try to make sure that that stays on screen as well. We don't want that coming off screen because that looks weird. But anyways, enough about that. Just go ahead and create some screens right here for your character. It can literally be like anything you want. Like, heck, even if you want to be weird and just put them upside down like that, you totally could do that too. It doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical or perfectly in place like Maxwell is here, and the only thing that's moving is head and whatnot. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but do create some different sprites to show that your main character is kind of like glitching out and whatnot. So now that you're done with creating your character, you gotta have to make them glitch and whatnot. They're not just gonna glitch by themselves and whatnot. You kind of have to like do it manually. You see, switch through costumes, so that's not really gonna help. So to help them glitch and whatnot by themselves, we're going to want to grab a couple of blocks here. First, we're going to want to grab this. And this will be explained later, but you are going to want a flag clicked hide right here. Next, you are going to want a block here. And what you should name it here is green flag. And this message will be broadcasted when you hit the green flag, but we'll work on that soon enough. Now you're going to want to come down here, and what you want to grab is a forever block, and you're going to want to put that right there. And then you're going to want to grab the costume bar right here. So we're going to want Maxwell to switch to his very first costume. So we're going to put that right there. And now for the actual glitching part itself, and it's quite interesting actually. So grab a weight block right here. Then grab a pick random 1 to 10 block right here. And you're going to put it inside of the wait. So this right here means now that this script is going to wait a random time of 1 to 10 seconds. Alright, we're going to put that right in there. And depending on how long you want your character to glitch out and whatnot, you're going to pick whatever kind of amount of seconds you want to. The kind of seconds I would go for to make it relatively short and not too long would be 3 to 5 seconds. But again, this is your choice. And now what you want to do is grab this repeat block right here and place it right under the wait random seconds block. Then we're going to go and pick up this pick random again, just like we did last time. And this time, this is going to determine how many times your character should glitch out. You can do it for as long as you want or as short as you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and say 5 to 9 seconds, or 5 to 9 times, I mean. Now, you're going to want to go to this block right here and grab the switch costume to block once again. After that's done, you're going to want to grab a wait seconds block once more, and you're going to want to place it inside of this repeat block right here. Do not place it outside like this. Place it inside. And now we're going to want to grab another pick random. I know there's a lot of pick randoms in here, but trust me guys, it's definitely going to help. We're going to want to have to make very specific numbers right here. Very small numbers, because this is going to help the character glitch super fast. But of course, if you guys want your character to glitch slow, you can do that as well just by making normal seconds. Like you can put like 1 to 10. But if you want your character to glitch quickly, then you're going to want to put in these small numbers. So 0.02. And now let's do 0.05. Now our character is going to glitch out pretty quickly with this. As you can see here, it barely waits like any second at all. And one last thing I almost forgot is to take, yes, I know, another pick random block and put it right into the switch costume right here. And now you're going to want to put in how many costumes you do have. So right here we have our costumes labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to want to put that here. Pick random 1 to 4. And this is kind of dependent on how many costumes you chose for your character. If you have like 7, let's say, then you're going to want to have 1 to 7. But right now we just have 1 to 4. Now this should work. Now with all of your costumes created for character glitching out and whatnot, as well as this code created right here, let's see if this works. Look at that. Did you guys see that? He glitched. That was pretty cool. Oh, there he goes again. Awesome. There you go. Good, now he's glitching around. This is exactly what we want. And he's not doing it for a long time either. He's kind of glitching in and out quickly, so he looks normal here, and then he glitches super quickly like that. Nice, that is what we want. Now, if you are experiencing problems with this, make sure that you follow this code exactly the way I put it, because it could be a problem with your code. But good, we have Mr. Maxwell here now, and he is glitching out the way we want it to, and that's good. Now that we have our main character here, there's something else that we're missing, and that's the warning screen. Whenever you enter a game, especially the original FNAF games, there's always a warning screen to let you know that there is going to be a certain type of content in the game. So I just went ahead and created this warning screen right here. It's a black rectangle with a warning font on it, and it says, "This game contains flashing lights, loud noises, and jump scares." Now, do forgive me for it being a little offset right there. That is my fault and whatnot. Like, I'm sure you guys will do a lot better than I will. But just a basic warning right here will definitely do as well. And you can choose whatever type of font or color that you want. It doesn't have to be red or pixelated font. You can do whatever you want. And any colored background you want to do as well. Just make sure it looks something like this. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to create a new broadcast message, and it's going to be called warning right here. And right here, I have a couple of blocks set up for us already. So right here, we have set ghost effect to 0. You can find this in the look right here. And also, do forgive me, I do realize that yes, everything else is colored differently than what you guys are used to, and it's because I do have Scratch add-ons, which is a mod website and whatnot. So if my Scratch looks a lot different, I apologize. I will try and make sure to point out what blocks are what blocks, even though they're colored differently. So now we're going to do that, and the block is going to be right here. And what you're going to want to do is click this right here and click ghost. This is going to set the ghost effect to 0. And you're going to put that right there with the warning broadcast. And now you're going to want to make sure that your sprite also switches to the warning screen sprite as well. Of course, if you have one costume, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to click that. Let's have the warning screen not say hello. Let's just not have that. You'll have to ignore that. But anyways, if you have one costume here, this shouldn't really matter. But if you have more than one costume, it's best just to do that. And we're going to want to make sure that our warning screen is centered, because if we just have it kind of off to the side like this and whatnot, it's just like, it's not going to look good and whatnot, and it's just going to look all weird and definitely not good. So let's go ahead and grab a motion block and set the X and Y to 0, 0. And then finally, we're going to add a show block that you can find in the look section right here. Now we're going to grab a wait block and set it to wait 2 seconds. And now here's an interesting one. We have a repeat block, but instead of having it being 10, we're going to set it to 50 and put it right under the wait 2 seconds block. Once that's done, we're going to want to grab another looks block, but this time it's going to be change. Do not select the one that says set. I know that you can probably get it mixed up, but select this one that says change right here. And we're going to set this to ghost, and we're going to change the ghost effect by 2. And we're going to put this in the repeat block. And now what this does is have our warning screen show and whatnot, and then it's going to fade into its own thing right here. So let's try it. And just like that, it faded. That's good. Now that we have our warning screen set up, there's one more problem. When I do click the flag, the warning screen does show, but it doesn't actually hide. Well, that's simple. All we have to do is go to our sprite right here, have a when green flag clicked, broadcast the warning signal. Boom, right there. Now this should work. Look at that. It broadcasted. So which means that this should be fading now. That's good. That's good. That worked. Now, as you can see here, Maxwell didn't show up or do anything special whatsoever. So we need to fix that. All we have to do is grab a wait 2 seconds block, as well as a broadcast green flag block. Once we have these two things, we're going to put them under the repeat block, just like that. Now, this should work, and what should happen is that the warning screen should show up, and it should fade, showing Maxwell as well. Showing Maxwell. Huh, that didn't work for some reason. Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry about this, guys. You should definitely make sure that you do this as well. Make sure to put show right here, so that he actually shows, and then set them to their current coordinates, so then they don't move from their spot just in case. Again, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how I forgot about that. But that's just a quick little fix right there. And yes, there you go. We have Maxwell. He showed where he was supposed to be. And now he's glitching out as he should. That's good. So now both the warning screen and Maxwell do work. And one last thing to make sure that our warning screen doesn't get in our way is just to hide it completely after it broadcasts green flag. And now we have a pretty solid start here. We have the warning screen as well as Maxwell glitching out like crazy. And we also have our backdrop and whatnot. This looks like a pretty solid game so far. But this is literally just the beginning, and we need to keep going. Now, when you open up the menu for a FNAF game, there are usually buttons on the side right here that will actually allow you to select either a new game, continue, extras, all that stuff. But for this one, we're going to be focusing on a new game button as well as a continue button. So you're going to want to create a new game button right here in the vector, and you can of course just create it like any way you want. Again, it can be any sort of text font that you want, any sort of button color. Just make sure that it's a rectangular button and it says new game. And we're going to show that here. Now, as you can see, our button is where we don't want it to be, so we're going to drag it right to where we want it to be, right about here. There you go. So make sure that your new game button is in the spot that it's supposed to be in, at least along the side right here, because it wouldn't make sense to place it on the title or on Maxwell, because look at that. That looks weird. So let's just place it right here. Now, it's time for the code of our new game button, You can't just have a new game button here, and then when you click on it, it does literally nothing. So let's begin with that. You're going to want to, when flag clicked, hide. And then what you want to do next is grab a green flag script right here, this broadcasting script. And make sure that this button is set to its original location as well. Now right here, we want to add a wait 2 seconds script, and then add a show script right here. And then you're going to grab a size block right here and set the size to 80. And I will explain this later because this will come in useful. So let's see if the script works. And yeah, there it is. It did. But now we got to focus on something else. If you want to, and you don't have to, you could make an animation for your button as well. When you hover on it, it gets bigger, and when you let go of it, it gets smaller. So let's try and work that right now. But of course, if you want to skip this and you just feel like that your button's just fine without changing size, you can go to this timestamp right here on screen to skip this part. But if you want to animate your button, you can definitely do that, and I'll show you how. So, once we get our forever loop, we're going to want to grab an if then else block and put it inside the forever loop. Then we're going to grab a sensing block right here, and this one's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to put it inside of the if then else block, and we're going to set it to if touching mouse pointer. When we do that, we're going to want to grab a change size block from the look section. And this is depending on how you want it. You could make your button pretty big and whatnot, but I'm just going to have it be change size by 4. So, let's see if this code works now. Alright, awesome. So it did. So the button changed its size when I was hovering my mouse over it. Although, as you can see here, it disappeared off screen. That's definitely not what we want. There you go. Our button is now back to normal. But if we don't want it to keep getting that big, we're going to want to set it to a specific size. So then, when the game checks for a specific size, then it knows not to grow the button anymore because the size is already too much. So let's grab a if then block, and we're gonna put it inside the if then else block, right below the change size. And now we're gonna want to go to the operators section. Once we're at the operator section, we're going to want to grab a block that looks like this, where it has the little arrow pointing to the right. We don't want the one that has the arrow pointing to the left. So grab this block right here and put it right here. Now we're going to want to grab something from the looks section right here, and it's going to be called size. We're going to grab this little guy right here and put it inside the operator block. And now we're going to want to set the size in the operator to 90. And again, this is only what I'm doing, but if you want to make your button bigger when you hover over it, you could definitely go for bigger numbers. But for now, I'm doing 90. Once we have that, we're going to want to put set size block into the if then block. After this, we're going to want to put our exact same number that we put here into here. So for instance, if you chose 120, you would also put 120 in here. Now let's see if this works. Good, that's good. If you guys saw that, our button grew, but it didn't grow gigantic like it did last time. It only grew as much as we allowed it to. So that's good now. So now that I'm hovering my mouse over it, it won't grow anymore. But what if we want the button to go back to being smaller after we let go of it? Well, we're going to take this script right here, and we're going to hover our mouse over the change size by 4. We're going to right click, and we're going to hit the duplicate. Once we do that, we're going to put it inside here, the else section of the block. After this, we're going to take our change size by 4, and we're going to set it to change size by -4. And we're going to put it back on top right there. And now, we're going to want to grab our size and take it out of the operator and get rid of this operator. Now, we're going to want to go into the operator section and grab the operator that's opposite from the other one, where the arrow is pointing to the left. We'll grab this and then put our size inside of this new operator that we have. And we're going to set our lowest size to 80. Our default size was 80, and this is what we're going to set it to. But of course, if you want a smaller size for your button, you can put a lower size in there as well. But this is what I'm going with. And then just like last time, you're going to want to set your size to what you already put in the operator right here. So 80, 80. Alright, this is looking pretty good. We're going to put it inside here, and then once we have this whole script right here figured out, we're going to put it back inside the forever loop. And if you guys saw right there, our button shrunk. And would you look at that now? It works. So our new game button is growing when we touch it, and then when we let go of it, it shrinks. Now this is our little animated button. And this is just a little bit of a gimmick actually. This isn't all too important, but it is just to give your game a little bit more style and whatnot, giving it some more depth and whatnot. But now that we have our animation right here, we're going to figure out how to actually make this button work and start a new game for us. Now this section is going to be interesting because this is going to require more sensing blocks as we go, as well as variables, but we'll take it one step at a time to make sure that you guys aren't too confused. So we're going to grab an if-then block and put it right under this size block right here. Make sure that it's under and that your script should look like this. Now, what we're going to want to do is grab a sensing block and grab the mouse down sensing block and put that in the if-then area. When we do that, we're going to create a new broadcast. we are going to name this new broadcast New Game. And we're going to put that inside the if-then block right here. Once we do that, we're going to create a brand new variable. And it's going to be called night number. Right here is night number hashtag. When we do that, we're going to want to grab this block right here. That's going to say set night number to 0. We're going to want to change that to set night number to 1 because this is new game, so this is going to be setting our game to the very first night. And we're going to put it under this broadcast new game block. Once we do that, we got to make sure that this new game button hides when we press it. So we're going to put a hide right under the night variable. Once that's done, we're going to make sure that this button doesn't interact with us during the game. If we were to start a new game right here and playing through the office and whatnot, this button would still be here actually, and if we let's say try to close the left door and accidentally click this new game button, that would start an entire new game and your entire game would just be a glitchy mess. So let's make sure that you can't press this button during gameplay. So we're going to grab a set size block and put 1 in it and put it right under the hide block. Now we're going to go grab a motion block and we're going to set the X and Y to 500. Now this right here, and we're going to set it to the under, we're going to put it under this size block. What this is going to do is take our sprite right here and set it to the very top right corner. So then you most likely won't even be able to hit it during gameplay because nothing I guess you'll really need will be on the top right corner, unless if you have your own mechanic. So just be careful for that. But once this is done, this right here should completely hide our button. But wait, it doesn't actually do anything. And this is because our sprite right here says 80 when it's sized. And that's not really going to help actually. Our size is still going to be the same thing. So that's not really going to help. But what we can do is grab the new game broadcast and put it right on top of the script. And there's one more block that we are going to introduce. And it's going to be a stop other scripts and sprite block. And you can get this from the control right here. And when you look at the stop all button, you can actually switch it to anything that you want. Switch it to the other scripts and sprite. Grab this block and put it right in the new game. Now, when this happens, as you can see right here, our game button, that was an accident. Let's try not to do that. When we do click this, the size now will change to 10. And if we are to click on our new game button, right there, if you can see it in the very top right corner of our game, if you can see that highlighted purple section, that is our button right there. It is super small, so a very, very low chance that you're going to be able to click that. Now that the button is out of sight and out of mind, you shouldn't have to worry about clicking it during gameplay. Now with that out of the way, when we broadcast a new game, we're going to need the game to start. So, you know how you press a new game or continue button in the original games, there shows up a night screen and it shows what kind of night you're on. Now, I went ahead right here and created a couple of costumes right here. So, you want a black rectangle so that it completely blocks out the background right here. And you're going to want to have text that says Night 1. And this will continue through the rest of the costumes as well. Now with the rest of the costumes, you have Night 2, Night 3, Night 4, Night 5, and Night 6. And this 12 a.m. is also optional. You don't have to put that there if you don't want to. And it could just be Night 1 and whatnot. But that's just my sort of style, just to show the time as well. Just something interesting and whatnot. But again, you do not have to do this if you don't want to. But make sure that you create 6 other costumes. In each costume, this number on here should change all the way up to Night 6. And of course, night 6 is red, just showing that that's going to be the hardest night in the game. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want with your night screens, but that's just kind of what I got going on. Now, when it comes to the night screens actually showing, we're going to get to that now. So you're going to want to grab a one hide. So now you're going to want to grab a one flag clicked hide, and when I receive green flag hide. Once you've created your night screen sprite, then you're going to want to create another one called fade. And this fade is important because it does have a pretty cool effect. Now, this fade sprite is pretty simple. All you want to do is create this really big black square. Once you did that, then you're just going to want to put this little script here again. We always like to use this. The script is kind of our best friend. It just helps us, so then it hides the rest of these sprites when the game starts. And we're going to create another script, and it's going to be when I receive green flag, hide, and then go to the look section and grab a go to front layer block. We're going to grab a when I receive new game broadcast, and make sure that our sprite goes to the center of our screen, 0, 0. And then we're going to want to grab a set ghost effect block right here and set it to 100. Then add a go to front layer block as well as a show block. Now here's where the interesting stuff starts to happen. We're going to want to grab a repeat block and set it to 20. And then we're going to want to go to the look section and grab a change ghost effect block right here. And we're going to want to put it inside of this repeat block. When we do that, we're going to change it by -5 right here. We're going to want -5 and put that right in the script. Then we're going to add a wait 2 seconds block. Once we do that, we're going to add a repeat 20 block again. And this time, we're going to have the ghost effect change by +5. So there's going to be no minus next to the 5, just a 5. And we're going to put it inside the repeat block. And put it right there. And then, we're going to have a hide block afterwards. And put it right down there. Now, let's see if this works. Now that we have our game loaded up, we're going to click this. Good! Our fade did the work. But now, after we created this script, we're going to want to create another script, and it's going to be when I receive new game, broadcast fade. After we have all that back together, we're going to want to go to night screen, and we're going to want to grab this when I receive fade block. Then we're going to make sure that the night screen centers itself on the screen. And then we're going to grab another block, set ghost effect to 0. After that, we're going to grab a block and it's going to say wait 0.7 seconds. And I know that this time is oddly specific, but this is how long it actually takes for the fade to show itself and for it to go away. Afterwards, when the fade has finally disappeared, we're going to put a show block right there. And now here's a really interesting code that we have to do. We're going to grab a switch costume to block and then go to the variables section. And we're going to grab this little guy here and we're going to drag him right into this costume spot. And you're probably thinking how weird that is. But this will actually make it so that our costume here will actually switch to the night number that it's supposed to be. So because the night number is 1, correct? Indeed, it's going to switch our costume to night 1. We're going to grab a couple of more things. So right here we have a wait 5 seconds block. And then we have a broadcast block right here, and we're going to call it night start. We're going to put these two together and then put them under our already created script. So your script should look like this. Once that's done, we're going to grab another repeat block and set it to 20. And just like we did with the warning screen, we're going to change the ghost effect by 5 with every single repeat command. So make sure that you grab the change ghost block and not the set ghost block. And we're going to put these together now. Afterwards, grab 2 more blocks. The hide block and the set ghost effect to 0. Remember, have set and not change. Now that we have this whole script right here, let's see if it works. What we're expecting is to see both the fade and the night screen. Good, so the fade was right there, and it also showed us the night screen. That's great, that's exactly what we wanted. Great job. So, this concludes part 1 of our series right here. And I promise I will get part 2 out by tomorrow. Since these videos are short, it should be pretty easy actually with making more of these videos and showing you guys how to create your own game. What we're going to work on with the next video is learning how to create an office and how to create doors, and we're also going to create another button for the menu, and it's going to be called a continue button. It's going to work similarly to the new game button, but it's not going to reset our night to 1. Instead, it's going to let us pick up exactly where we left off. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I promise I'm going to make sure that I get part 2 out tomorrow so that you guys can learn to create even more games as well. I really hope this tutorial helped. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, and thanks again to these couple of individuals for the video idea. I will definitely share more with you guys next video because, trust me guys, we're in for a long ride here. This is definitely going to be a very interesting series on my channel, but I'm glad that I could help teach you how to make a FNAF game in Scratch, quick and easy, and just overall helping you with your game. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video, which will be right about tomorrow, so I can get part 2 out, where we'll be going over some more interesting stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.